Imagine waking up in 2026, not waiting for some magical date, not hoping the world around you suddenly shifts, but standing tall because you've claimed your power from within. This isn't about calendars or external changes. It's about a profound inner revolution. What if the fresh start you crave doesn't come by flipping a page on the calendar, but by shedding the illusions that bind you? The false hope that life changes only when outside circumstances do. True transformation begins when you stop chasing external fixes and turn your gaze inward, mastering the restless impulses that steer you off course, cutting loose the heavy emotional baggage clogging your mind, and choosing deliberately who you become each day. This journey isn't for the faint-hearted. It demands ruthless honesty about failure, and the courage to embrace it as a teacher, the solitude to truly hear your own voice above the noise. Every moment is a battlefield where your future self is forged, not in grand gestures, but in the small, conscious choices you make now. The power to start anew, really start anew, pulses in your hands each day. So, will you dare to claim it? Will you confront discomfort, release what no longer serves you, and step intentionally into the unknown? Or will you wait for the external world to hand you permission? This is your call to action. Your transformation won't come from waiting. It will come from the relentless courage to choose differently, boldly, and every single day. The new 2026 isn't a date. It's a state of being waiting inside you, ready to be awakened. If this is making sense to you so far, like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this. It's a small act, but in sharing, we extend the ripple of ancient wisdom into a chaotic, modern world. We've talked about the illusion of external fixes, the yearning for a fresh start that doesn't arrive with a new calendar year, but springs from an inner revolution. We've touched on the profound power of turning inward, of shedding the false hopes that keep us tethered to a conditional existence. Now, let's go deeper. Let's peel back the layers and confront the specific practices that forge this unshakable inner citadel, brick by deliberate brick. Mastering restless impulses and cutting loose emotional baggage. One of the most insidious obstacles to true transformation is the incessant pull of our restless impulses and the suffocating weight of unexamined emotional baggage. In our hyper-connected, instant gratification world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli designed to capture our attention, fuel our desires, and stir our emotions. From the endless scroll of social media to the siren call of consumerism, from the subtle anxieties of comparison to the gnawing fear of missing out, our minds are rarely at rest. We crave, we react, we fear, we regret, often without a moment's pause to question the validity or utility of these internal movements. This is precisely where Stoicism offers a radical intervention. The Stoics understood that true freedom isn't the absence of external constraints, but the mastery of our internal landscape. They introduced us to the concept of prohairesis, our faculty of choice, our inner sovereign. This is the only thing truly within our control. Our judgments, our opinions, our desires, our aversions, everything else, wealth, health, reputation, other people's opinions, even our own bodies to a large extent, are external, indifferent to our core well-being. Think about that for a moment. Most of our emotional turmoil stems from our desperate clinging to these externals. We get angry when traffic delays us because we judge being on time as absolutely good and traffic as absolutely bad. We feel jealousy when a friend succeeds because we judge their success as diminishing our own and their good fortune as a personal slight. We feel anxiety about the future because we judge certain outcomes as catastrophic and others as essential. failing to recognize that those outcomes are not entirely within our grasp. The Stoic path to mastery begins with recognizing this fundamental truth. It demands that we consciously separate what is truly ours to control from what is not. When an impulse arises, a sudden urge to buy something frivolous, a rush of anger in response to a perceived insult, a wave of fear about an upcoming presentation, we don't immediately act on it. Instead, we pause. We create a sliver of space, a crucial moment between stimulus and response. And in that space, we exercise our prohieros. This pause is a superpower in the modern age. It allows us to examine the thought, the judgment, the narrative driving the impulse. Seneca urged us to ask, is this truly necessary? Is this truly good? Is this within my power? Most of the time, we find that our impulses are based on faulty judgments, on external things that are beyond our control, or on fleeting pleasures that ultimately detract from our long-term peace. Take the example of social media. The impulse to constantly check notifications, to compare our lives to curated highlight reels, to seek external validation through likes and comments. These are potent, addictive forces. A Stoic would observe these impulses not as commands, but as suggestions. They would ask, what judgment am I making about my self-worth if I need external validation? Is this judgment aligned with my rational faculty? Is the outcome, more likes, truly within my control, or is it indifferent? What is the true cost of this constant seeking of external approval on my inner peace and focus? By questioning the underlying judgments, we begin to dismantle the power of the impulse itself. Emotional baggage operates similarly, though often with deeper roots. These are the accumulated unexamined judgments, resentments, fears, and regrets from our past that we carry forward. They color our perceptions, trigger disproportionate reactions, and prevent us from engaging with the present moment with clarity. Perhaps you carry the baggage of a past failure, constantly fearing repetition. A Stoic would say, the failure itself is in the past, an external event. Your judgment of it as an unredeemable catastrophe, however, is a present choice. What lessons can be extracted? What can be changed now? What is the utility of clinging to this past pain? To cut loose this baggage, we must develop a practice of self-examination. Journaling, mindful meditation, or simply dedicating moments of quiet reflection each day to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you feel a surge of anger, instead of lashing out, ask, what story am I telling myself right now? What expectation have I placed on this situation or person that is now being violated? When you feel anxiety, ask, what future event am I catastrophizing? Is this future event truly within my control? If not, what is within my control right now? This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding their origins and choosing how to respond to them. Emotions are like messengers. We don't shoot the messenger, but we also don't blindly follow every message without discernment. A skilled rider doesn't let their horse run wild. They train it, guide it, and establish a partnership based on mutual understanding. Our mind, with its impulses and emotions, is that wild horse. Through Stoic practice, we become the rider, choosing the direction, ensuring it serves our highest good, which is to live a life of virtue and reason. The freedom that comes from mastering these impulses and shedding emotional baggage is profound. It's the ability to walk through life's storms with an inner calm, to face adversity without being consumed by it, to engage with others from a place of reason rather than reactivity. This is not apathy. It is equanimity. It is the solid ground upon which all other transformation is built. Radical responsibility and deliberate self-creation. Once we begin to reclaim our inner landscape from the tyranny of impulses and the weight of baggage, we unlock the next crucial dimension of Stoic transformation: radical responsibility and the deliberate act of self-creation. In a world that often encourages victimhood narratives and externalizes blame, Stoicism stands as an unwavering beacon of self-agency. It proclaims that you are not merely a product of your circumstances. You are the architect of your character, the sculptor of your soul. To choose deliberately who you become each day is to step into a power most people never realize they possess. It means understanding that every single choice, no matter how small, is a brushstroke on the canvas of your being. From how you respond to an email, to how you treat a stranger, to how you spend your free moments, these are not neutral acts. They are declarations of who you are and who you aspire to be. The Stoics posited that virtue is the sole good, not wealth, not fame, not pleasure, not even health. These are indifference. Virtue, which they defined as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, is the only thing that truly contributes to our eudaimonia, our flourishing. This isn't some abstract philosophical concept. It's a practical guide for daily living. When you choose to act wisely, you become wiser. When you choose to act justly, you become more just. When you choose courage over fear, you cultivate courage. When you exercise temperance over indulgence, you strengthen your self-control. Consider the modern challenge of procrastination. It often stems from a fear of discomfort or a desire for instant gratification. When you choose to delay a difficult task, you are, in that moment, choosing weakness over discipline, short-term comfort over long-term growth. A Stoic approach would ask, what virtue is being neglected here? Is it courage to face the difficulty? Is it temperance to resist the urge for distraction? Is it wisdom to recognize the importance of this task for my overall well-being? By reframing procrastination as a choice against virtue, we can consciously choose to act differently, to align our actions with the person we aspire to be. Radical responsibility means acknowledging that while you may not control the cards you're dealt, you absolutely control how you play them. It means owning your reactions, your attitudes, and your efforts. If you find yourself complaining about your job, your relationships, or your lack of progress, a Stoic would gently but firmly inquire, what choices have you made that led you here? What choices can you make now to change your situation, or at least your perspective on it? It's not about blame. It's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that you are not a passive recipient of life, but an active participant, an agent of change. This deliberate self-creation happens not in grand, sweeping gestures, but in the relentless consistency of small, conscious choices. It's in the decision to wake up with intention, rather than letting the day happen to you. It's in choosing to learn from a mistake, rather than wallow in regret. It's in selecting your words carefully to be clear and kind, rather than reactive and thoughtless. Practical application involves establishing daily routines that reinforce your chosen character. A morning routine rooted in Stoic practice might include contemplation, reflecting on the day ahead, anticipating challenges, and mentally rehearsing virtuous responses, premeditation of evils. Journaling, writing down your intentions, your fears, your gratitude, and analyzing your thoughts and actions from the previous day. Setting intentions, explicitly deciding what kind of person you will be today. Will you be patient, diligent, kind, focused. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about consistently nudging yourself towards your highest ideal. Seneca reminded us, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. This is a lifelong project of self-sculpture, chipping away at the superfluous, refining the essential, until the magnificent form of your authentic, virtuous self is revealed. The impact of embracing radical responsibility is immense. It replaces feelings of helplessness with a sense of agency. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. It empowers you to navigate life's inevitable storms, not as a victim, but as a resilient captain, steering your own ship. You become not just a person, but your person, uniquely, authentically, and deliberately forged from within, etc. Ruthless honesty about failure and the courage to embrace it as a teacher. In our culture, failure is often presented as the ultimate antagonist, something to be avoided at all costs, a mark of shame. We curate perfect online personas. We shy away from risks that might expose our imperfections, and we agonize over mistakes. But this pervasive fear of failure is a powerful inhibitor of growth, a cage that prevents us from truly living. Stoicism offers a profoundly different, liberating perspective. Failure is not merely an event. It is an indispensable teacher, a raw material for resilience, and an integral part of the human experience to be embraced, not feared. The Stoics understood that many things are beyond our control. The outcome of our efforts, the reactions of others, the unpredictable currents of life. What is within our control is our judgment and our response. Failure, in and of itself, is an external event, and indifferent. Our suffering comes not from the failure, but from our judgment of it as an absolute catastrophe, an unrecoverable blow to our ego or our prospects. To embrace failure as a teacher requires ruthless honesty. It means looking squarely at what went wrong, without self-deception or blame-shifting. It means asking difficult questions. What assumptions did I make? What actions did I take, or neglect to take? What could I have done differently? This isn't about wallowing in guilt or regret, which are unproductive emotions rooted in judging past externals. It's about an objective, dispassionate analysis aimed at extracting wisdom for future action. Consider the entrepreneur whose venture collapses. The conventional narrative might be one of defeat and shame. The Stoic perspective, however, would focus on the internal response. While the loss of capital and effort is a natural disappointment, the true Stoic would not allow it to dismantle their inner peace or prevent future action. Instead, they would meticulously review every decision, every strategy, every interaction, not with self-recrimination, but with a singular purpose: to learn. What were the market miscalculations? What were the leadership shortcomings? What external factors, though beyond control, can now be better anticipated? This process is what transforms an obstacle into an opportunity. Epictetus famously said, "Every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward and to plumb new depths in our character." Failure, seen through this lens, is a powerful invitation to plumb those depths. It forces us to confront our weaknesses, challenge our assumptions, and refine our approach. Without these challenging moments, our understanding of ourselves and the world would remain superficial. The concept of amor fati, love of fate, is deeply relevant here. It's not a passive resignation to whatever happens, but an active, robust acceptance, even a joyful embrace, of everything that occurs, including setbacks and failures, as necessary for the unfolding of life, and as opportunities for our virtue to shine. When we say love of fate, we're talking about loving the process, the journey, the forging fire that shapes us. Just as a blacksmith hammers and heats raw metal, knowing each strike and flame contributes to the sword's strength, so too do life's difficulties forge our character. Practically, embracing failure involves post-mortems, not pity parties. After a setback, instead of dwelling on negative emotions, schedule a dedicated time for objective analysis. Write down what happened, why you think it happened, what you learned, and what you will do differently next time. First, decoupling self-worth from outcomes. Remind yourself that your inherent worth as a rational, virtuous being is not diminished by external outcomes. Your value comes from your effort, your intentions, and your character, not from whether you succeeded or failed in a particular endeavor. Practicing resilience. View failures as training exercises. Each time you face a disappointment and choose to learn and move forward, you build your psychological muscle for future challenges. You become more robust, less easily shaken. Anticipating failure. The Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, can be extended to anticipate potential failures. By mentally preparing for what might go wrong, we reduce the shock and emotional impact when it does. This isn't pessimism, it's proactive resilience. Imagine a scientist whose experiment yields an unexpected result, a failure to confirm the hypothesis. For a true scientist, this is not a dead end, but a new beginning, a data point that leads to further inquiry, deeper understanding, and perhaps a groundbreaking discovery. So it is with our lives. Our failures are merely unexpected results that compel us to re-examine our hypotheses, adjust our methods, and continue our relentless pursuit of wisdom and virtue. To genuinely embrace failure as a teacher is to shed the burden of perfectionism and the crippling fear of judgment. It is to cultivate courage, the courage to try, the courage to fall, and the courage to rise again, wiser and stronger. This is the unshakable spirit that defines a Stoic, an individual who understands that the path to transformation is not a smooth, uninterrupted ascent, but a rugged climb punctuated by falls, each one offering a new perspective and a firmer grip. The power of solitude to truly hear your own voice above the noise. In our always-on world, solitude has become a rare commodity, often conflated with loneliness and actively avoided. Our devices hum with constant notifications, social media feeds scroll endlessly, and the pressure to be constantly connected, constantly engaged, constantly entertained is immense. We fill every quiet moment with distraction, fearing the silence, fearing what we might hear when the external noise finally recedes. But the Stoics, and indeed all great thinkers, understood that true clarity, self-awareness, and inner guidance can only be cultivated in the fertile ground of solitude. To truly hear your own voice, the voice of reason and wisdom within you, you must first silence the cacophony of the outside world. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, whose meditations were essentially a private dialogue with himself, written during military campaigns and periods of great stress. He found his moments of introspection amidst the chaos, knowing that without this inner retreat, he could not govern himself, let alone an empire. Seneca, too, often withdrew to his study, emphasizing the importance of dedicated time for reflection and reading, for keeping company with yourself. Modern life actively conspires against this. We're told we need to network, collaborate, perform, and consume. We're taught that our value is often externally validated, measured by our social connections or public achievements. This external focus makes it difficult, almost frightening, to simply be with oneself, without agenda, without distraction. Yet, It is precisely in these moments of quiet introspection that we begin to untangle the knots of our own thoughts, examine our judgments, and distinguish our authentic desires from those imposed by societal expectations. When you allow yourself true solitude, something profound happens. The initial discomfort might be intense. Your mind, accustomed to external stimulation, might race, bringing up anxieties, regrets, or urges to reconnect with the world. This is normal. This is the noise of your own unexamined thoughts, the very things that are often drowned out by external input. But if you persist, if you create the space and allow the initial waves of restlessness to pass, a deeper calm begins to emerge. In this calm, you can finally ask yourself crucial questions. What are my true values, independent of what others expect of me? What anxieties am I holding on to that are not serving me? Am I living in alignment with my chosen virtues? What is truly important to me? What am I willing to sacrifice? Am I mistaking external approval for internal peace? Solitude is not about isolation from humanity. It's about establishing a profound connection with yourself so that your interactions with others are more intentional, more grounded, and less reactive. It's about building an inner sanctuary where you can retreat, process, and recalibrate rather than being constantly buffeted by external forces. Practical applications of cultivating solitude in a busy world. Scheduled quiet time. Dedicate specific, non-negotiable periods each day or week for solitude. This might be 15 minutes in the morning, before anyone else wakes up, a half-hour walk in nature without your phone, or an evening ritual of journaling and reflection. Digital detoxes. Regularly disconnect from devices. Put your phone on airplane mode. Turn off notifications and consciously resist the urge to fill every micro moment with digital input. Let yourself be bored. It's often the fertile ground for creativity and self-discovery. Journaling. This is arguably the most potent form of active solitude. It allows you to externalize your thoughts, observe them, and engage in a written dialogue with your inner self. It helps clarify thinking, identify patterns, and articulate insights that might otherwise remain submerged. Mindful practices. Meditation, even for a few minutes, helps train your mind to observe thoughts without judgment, fostering a sense of inner spaciousness that mimics the benefits of physical solitude. Think of it like tending a garden. If you constantly let weeds grow unchecked and never take the time to prune or nourish, the garden will become overgrown and unproductive. Solitude is the act of tending your inner garden, clearing the mental weeds, cultivating the seeds of wisdom, and allowing your true self to flourish. It allows you to become your own best counsel, to develop an unshakable inner compass that guides you through life's complexities. By actively seeking and embracing solitude, you reclaim a vital piece of your sovereignty. You develop the capacity to think for yourself, to stand firm in your convictions, and to act from a place of deep self-knowledge rather than external pressure. This inner voice, once muffled by the world's clamor, becomes your clearest guide on the path to becoming the person you were meant to be. Tuning into your body's wisdom, a foundation for inner strength. While Stoicism often emphasizes the primacy of the mind and reason, it doesn't advocate for neglecting the body. Quite the contrary. The Stoics understood that the body is the vessel through which we experience the world, engage in virtuous action, and exercise our rational faculty. To disregard its signals, to abuse it, or to fail to care for it responsibly is to undermine the very foundation of our mental and emotional strength. Tuning into your body's wisdom is not about succumbing to every craving or whim, but about understanding its needs as part of your holistic, integrated self. In our modern world, we often treat our bodies as separate entities, either as objects of aesthetic pursuit, machines to be optimized, or mere vehicles for pleasure. We push ourselves to exhaustion, fuel ourselves with processed foods, neglect sleep, and then wonder why our minds feel sluggish, our emotions are volatile, and our focus is fractured. This disconnect between mind and body is a significant barrier to living a virtuous, flourishing life. A Stoic approach views the body as an indifferent, meaning its health or lack thereof does not determine our virtue or happiness. However, it is a preferred indifferent. While a sage could be virtuous even in sickness, it is certainly easier to exercise wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance when one's physical foundation is sound. A healthy body provides energy for action, clarity for thought, and resilience against external stressors. To treat it with reasoned care is an act of prudence and temperance. Tuning into your body's wisdom means moving beyond treating symptoms and instead understanding the underlying messages your body sends. For instance, chronic fatigue isn't just being tired. It might be a signal about inadequate sleep, poor nutrition, or excessive stress. Persistent tension isn't just a physical ache. It might reflect unaddressed emotional strain or an overstimulated nervous system. Our bodies are constantly providing feedback, but we are often too busy, too distracted, or too disconnected to listen. This is not about succumbing to every bodily desire. A Stoic would distinguish between genuine needs and fleeting cravings. The desire for a balanced, nutritious meal when hungry is a rational need. The craving for a sugary snack out of boredom or emotional distress is an impulse that needs to be examined through the lens of temperance and reason. The body informs reason. It does not dictate it. Practical ways to tune into your body's wisdom, rooted in Stoic principles. Instead of mindlessly consuming, eat with attention. Notice the taste, texture, and smell. Pay attention to signals of hunger and fullness. Ask yourself, is this food nourishing my body and mind, or am I eating out of habit, emotion, or distraction? This practice of temperance and presence strengthens your self-control. Conscious movement. Engage in physical activity not just for aesthetic reasons, but for health, vitality, and mental clarity. Whether it's walking, stretching, or more vigorous exercise, notice how your body feels during and after. Physical exertion can be a form of premeditatio malorum, preparing the body for hardship and building resilience. Prioritizing sleep. Treat sleep as a non-negotiable foundation for mental and physical well-being. Recognize that sacrificing sleep for more work or entertainment ultimately compromises your ability to think clearly, regulate emotions, and act virtuously. This is an act of wisdom and self-care. Regular check-ins. Periodically pause throughout the day to do a mental scan of your body. Where do you feel tension? Are you breathing deeply? Are you hydrated? These small moments of presence help you catch signals before they become overwhelming. Moderation in all things. Apply the principle of temperance to all physical habits: diet, exercise, consumption of substances. Excess leads to imbalance and undermines our rational faculty. Think of your body as a well-maintained ship. While the captain, your mind, is responsible for navigation and strategy, a wise captain ensures the ship itself, its hull, sails, and engine, is in optimal condition. Neglecting the ship's maintenance will eventually impair the captain's ability to steer it effectively through stormy seas. A strong, well-cared-for body provides the robust platform necessary for a strong, clear, and resilient mind. By cultivating a respectful, attentive relationship with your body, You are not indulging in hedonism. You are building a more solid foundation for your virtue. You are ensuring that your rational mind has the energy, clarity, and resilience it needs to confront challenges, make wise decisions, and live in accordance with nature. This mind-body harmony is an often overlooked but essential component of the inner revolution we seek. Communicating with clarity and presence, the art of Stoic dialogue. In an age of instant messages, superficial sound bites, and performative outrage, authentic communication has become a lost art. Misunderstandings proliferate, empathy wanes, and genuine connection feels increasingly elusive. For the Stoics, however, communication was not just about conveying information. It was a fundamental aspect of living a virtuous life, reflecting our rationality and our social duty. To communicate with clarity and presence is to engage with others thoughtfully, honestly, and effectively, thereby fostering deeper understanding and strengthening the bonds of our shared humanity. The Stoics emphasized the importance of truth and reason in our discourse. They believe that our words should be a direct reflection of our thoughts, free from deception, manipulation, or idle gossip. Seneca, in his letters, often cautioned against rambling, equivocation, and speaking merely for the sake of it. He encouraged brevity, precision, and substance. This wasn't just about efficiency. It was about integrity. When our words are clear, honest, and grounded in reason, we build trust and demonstrate respect for both ourselves and our interlocutors. Communicating with presence means being fully engaged in the moment, truly listening to understand, rather than simply waiting for your turn to speak. How often do we find ourselves half listening in conversations, our minds distracted by other thoughts, or rehearsing our rebuttal? This fragmented attention prevents genuine connection and often leads to misinterpretation. A Stoic would argue that to truly listen is an act of justice and wisdom. Justice in giving the other person your full attention, and wisdom in seeking to understand their perspective. Consider the common scenario of a disagreement at work or within a family. Often, such conflicts escalate not because of irreconcilable differences, but because of poor communication. Assumptions made, words misinterpreted, emotions overriding reason. A Stoic approach would involve pausing before speaking, applying the same discipline used for impulses, taking a moment to gather your thoughts. Ensure your words are calm, reasoned, and constructive, not reactive. Active listening, truly focusing on what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally. Asking clarifying questions to ensure you're understanding their perspective, rather than projecting your own. Clear and precise language, avoiding ambiguity, hyperbole, or loaded terms. Stating your case or expressing your feelings directly, without accusation or emotional theatrics. Focus on facts and your internal experience, rather than assigning blame. Focusing on what's controllable. In any interaction, you cannot control how another person will react, what they will say, or whether they will agree with you. You can control your own words, your tone, your intentions, and your ability to listen. Direct your energy towards these controllable elements: empathy, rational benevolence. While Stoicism isn't about emotional empathy in the modern sense, it is about rational benevolence, recognizing our shared humanity and interdependence. Oikiosis. This means approaching conversations with a desire for mutual understanding and resolution, even if you disagree. Think of Epictetus, a former slave, who taught that the way we use language reflects our inner state. If we are easily angered, our words will be sharp and accusatory. If we are anxious, our words may be hesitant or evasive. By cultivating inner calm and reason, our external communication naturally becomes more composed and effective. In practical terms, cultivating Stoic communication involves practicing mindful speaking. Before you speak, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it clear? Learning to say no with respect. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and temperance. Communicating these boundaries clearly and respectfully prevents resentment and maintains integrity. Giving constructive feedback. When offering criticism, focus on the action, not the person. Frame it as an opportunity for improvement, rooted in a desire for the other person's good and the common good. Avoiding gossip and slander. These undermine trust and social cohesion. Stoicism encourages us to speak about others only when it is true, beneficial, and necessary, reflecting justice and goodwill. Effective communication is not a soft skill. It is a fundamental virtue, a powerful tool for navigating the social fabric of life. When you communicate with clarity and presence, you don't just convey messages. You build bridges, foster understanding, and contribute to a more rational and harmonious world. You embody the Stoic ideal of a rational being, living in community, an individual who understands that the health of the whole is intricately tied to the integrity of its parts, and that our words are the threads that weave this fabric together, grounding your existence in a purpose larger than yourself. Finally, after mastering our impulses, owning our choices, embracing failure, finding clarity in solitude, attending to our bodies, and refining our communication, we arrive at a profound, overarching Stoic principle, grounding our existence in a purpose larger than ourselves. In a modern world often grappling with existential angst, consumerism-driven dissatisfaction, and a pervasive sense of meaninglessness, Stoicism offers a powerful antidote. It calls us to look beyond our individual desires and find we pursue these things, hoping they will bring lasting happiness, only to find that once achieved, the satisfaction is ephemeral, leaving us perpetually searching for the next external fix. This self-centered pursuit, the Stoics argued, is ultimately unfulfilling because it isolates us from the larger good, from the rational order of the universe. The Stoic concept of oikesis, often translated as affinity or appropriation, is key here. It describes the natural human tendency to extend our circle of concern, starting from ourselves, then to our family, friends, community, nation, and ultimately to all of humanity and the cosmos itself. It's a recognition that we are fundamentally social beings, parts of a larger whole, and that our individual flourishing is intrinsically linked to the flourishing of others. To ground your existence in a larger purpose means to consciously align your actions and intentions with this expanded circle of concern. It means understanding that your life has meaning, not just in what you accumulate or experience personally, but in how you contribute, how you serve, and how you uphold the principles of justice, kindness, and reason in the world. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who, despite his immense power, constantly reminded himself of his duty to serve Rome and its people. He saw himself as a citizen of the world, a piece of a larger cosmic order. His personal purpose was inextricably linked to the well-being of the whole. This perspective provides an unshakable source of resilience. When personal setbacks occur, when individual plans go awry, the larger purpose remains, providing meaning and a reason to persevere. In modern terms, this could manifest in countless ways: community engagement, volunteering, participating in local initiatives, supporting causes that uplift those around you. Ethical professionalism, performing your work with excellence and integrity, recognizing its contribution to the wider society, even if indirectly. A plumber provides essential service, a teacher shapes minds, a cleaner maintains public health. Each contributes to the functioning of the whole. Environmental stewardship, caring for the natural world, recognizing our interconnectedness with all living things and our responsibility to future generations. Mentorship and guidance, sharing your wisdom and experience to help others grow and develop, contributing to the human collective. Advocacy for justice, standing up for what is right, challenging injustice, and promoting equality, even when it is difficult or unpopular. This isn't about self-sacrifice in a way that negates your own well-being. It's about finding deeper fulfillment by recognizing that your well-being is enhanced when you contribute to something beyond yourself. It's about shifting from, "What can I get?" to "What can I give?" The cosmic perspective is crucial here. The Stoics would invite us to zoom out, to contemplate the vastness of the universe, our fleeting existence within it, and the interconnectedness of all things. This perspective, far from being depressing, is deeply liberating. It shrinks our petty worries and ego-driven desires, allowing us to see our true scale and our potential for meaningful contribution. Our individual troubles, while real, become less overwhelming when viewed against the backdrop of eternity and the universal design. Practically, identifying and grounding yourself in a larger purpose involves values clarification. Reflect deeply on what truly matters to you. What principles do you want your life to embody? How do these principles connect to the common good? Intentional contribution. Seek opportunities to use your unique talents and resources to benefit others or a cause you believe in. Start small. Be consistent. Practicing gratitude for interconnectedness. Regularly acknowledge how much of what you have and enjoy comes from the efforts of countless others. This fosters a sense of belonging and responsibility. Remembering our shared humanity. When you encounter someone difficult or different, practice seeing them as another human being, a fellow citizen of the world with their own struggles and aspirations. This cultivates compassion and reinforces our shared purpose. The impact of grounding your existence in a larger purpose is transformative. It provides an inexhaustible wellspring of motivation, resilience, and inner peace. It transcends the fleeting satisfactions of personal ambition, offering a profound sense of meaning that endures through all of life's ups and downs. When your purpose is larger than yourself, you tap into a universal energy, a deeper reason for being that makes your own life not just lived, but truly significant. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about being good. About aligning your individual will with the rational order of the cosmos. About living a life that is truly virtuous and therefore truly flourishing. So, here we stand, at the precipice of a choice. The new 2026, or any future date you envision, isn't waiting for you out there, a promised land that arrives with the turning of a calendar page. It is being forged right now in the crucible of your daily choices. It is a state of being, a profound inner revolution, born from the relentless courage to choose differently, boldly, and every single day. Seneca, ever the guide, urged us, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing." The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. The power to transform, to claim your new reality, pulses in your hands each day. It's not about waiting for permission, for the perfect moment, or for external circumstances to align. It's about seizing the present moment, mastering your inner world, embracing what is within your control, and living purposefully. Will you dare to claim this power? Will you confront discomfort, release what no longer serves you, and step intentionally into the unknown depths of your own potential? Or will you continue to wait, bound by illusions, hoping the world outside will hand you the keys to a kingdom that has always been within? The choice, as it always has been, is yours. What kind of person will you choose to be today? And how will that choice define the beginning of your true 2026? If this message resonated with you, I invite you to become a part of this growing community. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more insights on practical Stoicism, and leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. What is one impulse you will choose to master today? What deliberate choice will you make to sculpt your ideal self? Your engagement fuels this conversation and helps others discover this path to inner strength. Thank you for watching.